Hello. Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast, aka the I'm Very Sleepy podcast.
Can't be sleepy. You gotta wake up.
And my little rabbit fall asleep. At least I got him.
is
I'm like half tucked into bed now.
that
Um,
is that your Lily? Is
yeah,
Biscuit
this
your
is my
Lily?
Lily. If you're mean to him, he will haunt you,
Hmm.
most likely.
Okay.
He was in the background, so I was just like, well, I'll bring him in. Um, I'm your host, Liz. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Marcus.
That is me. I am Demarcus.
DeMarcus.
Duh Marcus. The Marcus.
DeMarcus.
The Marcus.
The Marcus.
Yeah.
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 Happy Smackdown.
It was a very interesting SmackDown. But
It was a weird one.
it was a SmackDown. It's one of those SmackDowns that all revolved around one thing and everything else was kind of filler. Like everything with Roman and Edge was filler. Roman wasn't even there. So it was just Edge and Jimmy. Everything was just Jimmy like talking to Paul. Um and then Edge was like just came in to beat up Jimmy. But we had the return of Zelina Vega. That
That's a
was
thing.
huge. After long talks or after a long stint with Vince about unionization, she apparently they both parties just went whatever and made
Yeah,
up.
that
So
was something.
yeah, I mean, she wanted to make a statement. She did. Um, yeah. But she's back, and she's now wrestling. She's not managing anymore like she used to. Now she appears to be full-time wrestling. No
Yes.
idea how this will affect her streaming career, but glad she's back.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Glad SmackDown has another woman,
Yep.
a
Just,
fifth,
where's the other women? Like Mia Yim
and Sasha Banks.
and Sasha Banks. Well, Sasha Banks. Um, yeah, it just kind of sucks because, like, Mia Yim's definitely sitting at catering, and it's like,
I wonder if they're planning to bring out Mia and Keith as a package.
I don't know about that one.
Why?
Mm, it doesn't seem like Keith is coming back anytime soon
I don't
at all.
know. The stuff with Keith, I feel like they're trying to get to a point where people forget about him. Like they want everyone to forget about Keith, so when he returns, it's huge. When will that
Maybe.
be? I don't know. I don't think anyone
Seems
will forget
also
him.
seems more like the longer we don't hear anything about him, the more people are like, "What the fuck is going on?" And like they're interested.
Yeah,
So
that's
maybe this isn't the best way to do it.
yeah. Um, but who knows? And who knows what's up with Mia Yim too? Maybe they're also trying to give some distance with Mia Yim so that she can come back as Mia Yim and people won't be like, wait, wasn't that Reckoning a few months
Yeah.
ago? So I don't know. But the main focus of the episode, the thing that had the most time dedicated to it, was the last man standing match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and by God, that was a fan-fucking-tastic match. Every match these guys put on is fantastic. I gave the match 5 stars.
I don't know.
You didn't like it?
I liked it, but like I liked the other 14 of them as well.
But they're not all the same. Each one has something different to it, and this one I felt like had like the best amount of like passion within the match, because you had them screaming at each other a lot of moments. But
I guess that's fair.
Let's not delve too far into it. We'll get to it once we start talking about the matches and promos. News?
Yes. I apologize if I accidentally expedite this episode. I am just so sleepy and I don't know why. I'm gonna do my best. That's great, Elizabeth. Thank you, Marcus.
So news?
Alright, so let's talk about some AEW non-WWE news. First things first, the wrestler Del Wilkes, aka the Patriot, passed away at the age of 59. I believe he passed away on July 1st or June 30th. I'm not really sure. But Del Wilkes debuted in 1988 and wrestled for WCW, AWA, All Japan Pro Wrestling, and debuted in WWE in 97. So, also, I guess, had a big role in the Canada versus USA rivalry with Brett. Deepest condolences to his family.
Yes.
So let's talk about some AEW news, which is just a whole string of wrestlers getting injured, wrestlers not getting injured. First things first, Sanjay Dutt, who just left WWE, just signed with AEW, or rather, yeah, I guess he signed with AEW. He was backstage at Dynamite.
As like a producer.
He was a producer for WWE, for 2 years. So there's that. But in addition to that, several things. Ricky Starks is cleared, as we learned on Dynamite.
I wonder, because Brian Cage said that he's going to defend the FTW belt against Ricky Starks. And the whole thing with the FTW belt is it's meant to only transfer when one person can't show up to the match. It was brought into AEW because of COVID, or really used because of COVID and other circumstances like injuries and stuff like that. So I wonder if one of them will be unable to fight. Although Brian Cage did defend it, I think, on Dark or Elevation against, I think, Alan Angels, where it was just a match. I think it only changes hands when one person can't show up.
Maybe. In addition to that, Anna Jay has absolutely no timeline on when she's returning, which really fucking sucks. And in addition, Rebel, during that match with
it was alongside Britt Baker against Nyla and Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah. Dislocated her kneecap. So not fun. Apparently she did it when she was running across the ring to break up a pin attempt, and had to crawl to the side of the ring afterwards.
You could see her crawl towards the end of the match. I noticed her crawling and was like, wait, that's a little weird.
I did not see that, but that sounds like it fucking sucks.
Hopefully she heals quickly.
I don't know, I know the dislocated shoulder, it's basically like you pop that shit back in, and as long as nothing is torn, that's all you can do.
Yeah. I think that's why it's just hope that it's only a dislocated kneecap.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if like a dislocated kneecap, you can just kind of like slap her back in there and rock on.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Also, my camera is like off. Not normally how it is. There you go. I'm not normally looking directly into the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were worthy of your eye contact.
No.
So okay, let's talk about WWE news. Kaylee Ray, fuck me. Kaylee Ray got married. Seems like that is the vibe lately.
Yeah.
She married Stevie Boy Xavier, who is an independent wrestler. And she shared pictures. They look very pretty. Looks like a pretty wedding. For them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some more NXT news. If you're watching 205 Live, you already probably know some of the NXT news, which is they are having 2 qualifiers for the breakout tournament on 205 Live.
Yeah, and some new guys that we have never seen on TV or on 205 Live are in it.
Correct. Quite literally, get stars. So it's going to be Andre Chase, who was Harlem Bravado, is making his debut against Guru Raj.
He's
and then most unfortunately named man in the world, Joe Gacy.
I think that's his thing, though. I think he wants that name so that it's like he comes off as crazy, because he looks like his gimmick is being crazy.
Didn't John Gacy
John Wayne Gacy?
John Wayne Gacy, didn't he?
He was a serial killer.
Like children.
He was a serial killer that dressed up as the clown.
Yeah, he killed children.
If I remember correctly.
I feel like isn't quite the vibe I go for. So there's other serial killers that only killed adults. But I'm not gonna judge him. I already have it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Joe Gacy is making his debut against Desmond Troy, which is a name we have not heard in a minute.
Yeah. That makes me wonder who's coming out of that, because Desmond Troy notably never wins.
Yeah.
It's weird that we're getting these people instead of like the people that like we've seen but are still breakouts, like Ari Sterling, Asher Hale, all those guys at Kanjiro.
I'm wondering if those might be on NXT.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Also, there's still time. There's still time before the tournament starts. They've got like 2 weeks, so.
Yeah. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we don't see what was his name. What was his name? Trey Baxter. I'm hoping we don't see him in the tournament, because I want him to be like, he was the guy who challenged Kushida and then Adam Cole. I want him to be like a big part in NXT. No?
It was Carmelo Hayes that challenged Adam Cole.
Carmelo Hayes. I thought that was Trey Baxter. Oh wait, no, Trey Baxter is somebody else.
Yeah.
I thought. Okay, I mean, these new people are all very confusing, but
it's a massive influx of new people that are luckily being used. Yeah, Trey Baxter is Blake Christian. He did challenge Kushida.
Okay, but Carmelo Hayes challenged Adam Cole and Kushida, right?
This is Trey.
Yes,
you can
okay.
See it, yeah.
Okay.
Sort of like a Buddy Murphy knockoff.
Yeah. But yeah, Carmelo Hayes, I want to see as like a big player in NXT rather than just in the breakout tournament. I feel like the position he's in already is perfect for him jumping into something massive.
Yeah. I think we might still see him, but one way or the other, it's better than seeing. I feel like with this tournament, if it were done on the main roster, it'd be people that we already like knew.
Yeah. I feel like Carmelo Hayes is gonna be brought into Diamond Mine. I feel like that would make sense.
Possible.
Because
Um,
I feel like if I'm saying I feel like a lot, but it'd be really cool if they have like a tag team. Um, no, tag team main title, mid card, and cruiserweight. But they would need 5 for that.
but speaking of Diamond Mine, I didn't notice this, but they referred to Hideki Suzuki during NXT as Hachi Man. We now know. I didn't catch that.
What's the name? Hachi Man?
Hachi Man, which was something I talked about last podcast, where it's a Chinese god of war.
Oh, so I guess that right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. Then we also have some new international signees, and that is, let me see if I can find the article. That is, I'm gonna try my best here.
Mm-hmm.
Wei Chang Wang, Ji Yin, and Sean Tan, aka Trexus. They recruits. Fei Ching and Ji are from China, and Tan has come from Singapore. Um, Apparently, Sean Tan is a former Singapore Pro Wrestling Southeast Asia champion. Ji Yin is second in the CrossFit China Open and competed in the Asia CrossFit Championship. And Fei Ching Wang is trained by a former WWE PC coach. And then also Japanese wrestler slash MMA fighter Alexander Otsuka.
Sounds like a very interesting group. I'm glad NXT's been opening up to more Asian recruits.
Yeah. It's a part of wrestling that they haven't really tapped into across the entirety of WWE. So
Yeah, I feel like Shinsuke was like kind of the one of the first ones to really break
they
out.
kind of screwed him over for a while.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting to see that new element brought in.
Mm-hmm. And maybe this has something to do with a possible, I know this was talked about, but a possible deal between NJPW and WWE. This might be something like a kind of a negotiating point between them, is like, hey, look at all of this Asian talent we're bringing in. We could do the same with your guys. I don't know. That might be a reach, but
It's possible. Let's see. So also have an update on Mercedes Martinez, because Mercedes Martinez got, if you don't recall, NXT, I don't know how you can remember. NXT got knocked in the head by Xia Li's foot.
solid roundhouse kick.
Yeah, solid, rock solid.
Mm-hmm.
She was taken to the hospital and she did receive a concussion, which just makes me wonder how fucking hard that kick was.
Yeah.
To be kicked in the full head and then have a concussion. I mean, to be kicked in the head probably always ends in a concussion, but like,
she was like knocked out on the spot.
Oh, I know. I mean, again, you and I both knew it from the start because like she just felt like
She ragdolled, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a really good sell, Mercedes.
God.
She's out of the hospital. She does have a concussion. So it could mean that she's fine to wrestle next week, or she might not be ready to wrestle for 6 months, according to Dave Meltzer.
Ooh. Well, it's Dave Meltzer. Hopefully he's wrong now, and she recovers.
Dave
quicker.
Meltzer does not exactly have a penchant for being correct on the first try.
Yeah.
So I bookmarked it. I don't really want to talk about it, but Triple H apparently publicly commented on the WWE releasing so many people. He was like, well, you know, after the pandemic, all companies are going to have to do stuff that they don't necessarily want to do, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck off.
The reason this
First
is
of all.
happening is because WWE they over sign people, and then moments like this happens where they're oversaturated and they have nothing to do with a lot of people, and suddenly they're paying people so much with them doing nothing. And a lot of times they sign like this so that other promotions can't have these people.
Yeah. And apparently this is going to be happening more and more often. WWE said that they're basically making a trend of this, which is just incredible because they're like, we don't actually give a fuck. We're going to do this every day now.
They just released a bunch of headquarters people too, didn't they?
Yeah. Didn't even have that in my news, but it did in fact happen. Apparently, I guess the message that they're trying to send is your job is never safe. Don't get comfortable. There's definitely good workers' morale.
Yeah, morale must be extremely high right now.
I remember when a bunch of people in my office before the pandemic were getting laid off. We all had great morale. We were having a good time. Parties every day. Anyways. So WWE announced that they're returning to Madison Square Garden officially on September 10th, which is a Friday. They're going to return with Friday Night Smackdown, which leads me to wonder if they're actually going to do Survivor Series there, because Survivor Series is in November, and that seems very close. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems very close. You know?
Yeah, but I feel like they would do an episode in the same area so that it's less travel expenses.
I'm saying that, no, more so what I'm saying is that Survivor Series usually happens in November, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, just seems very close to September for them to be like, and we're coming back. I'm just thinking of this selfishly, to be honest with you. I wanted to see Survivor Series.
I mean, they're probably going to change it to something else. To someplace else. Maybe Hammerstein Ballroom. That'd be cool.
Or Barclays Center. They love Barclays Center.
Well, NXT loves Barclays Center.
I could have sworn that we saw a couple reviews with WWE and Barclays Center.
NXT Takeover Brooklyn. That was
I haven't seen
Barclays.
NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. All right. The last piece of news for the night. See, I went through this quickly. Is what I guess one could call an update on Keith Lee. And this is what makes me think that our idea is wrong. EAM said that he's doing good. Then she said, I'm not going to comment much about it until he says some stuff, but he's doing good.
Cool.
I don't know what stuff needs to be said, and it makes me nervous.
I mean, I don't know. This is a weird situation, but hopefully it comes to light soon. We've been saying that since what? February? March? But I had a piece of news I'm surprised you didn't mention. Lana, formerly known as Lana, CJ Perry, was on Talk is Jericho and talked a lot about WWE and her experience. A big point of conversation was the creative and how they don't follow through in a lot of their storylines. And one notable example she brought up was the Hurt Business, how you had this amazing talent in a stable, and then for unexplained reasons they split them up. But she also said that when they do follow through on things, it's fantastic. Like Bianca and Sasha didn't have the best like progression, but when it reached its end point, it was amazing.
Yeah.
She also, one important thing she mentioned was she talked about Survivor Series last year. The one where she won the Survivor Series match by herself without doing anything. And apparently Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon thought it was hilarious that thought it would be a really hilarious concept if she didn't do anything and just kind of hid as everyone got eliminated, and she won the match for Raw. And then she was broken up about this. She just wanted to wrestle. That was it. Natalia came to her and just said, "You'll get the win, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day." I'm paraphrasing, of course. But then TJ Wilson spoke up for her to Vince or creative or whoever, and suggested the idea that she wrestles a little bit, Nia Jax scares her off, and then, or Nia Jax knocks her out, throws her out, whatever, and then she wins it kind of on accident. Even arguing for that bare minimum.
Well, that's because it's TJ. He's a great man.
Yeah. God bless TJ Wilson. It seemed like he was the only person that, or one of the only people that she spoke very highly of in that interview.
I don't blame her. I mean, he's done so much for women's wrestling.
Yeah. But hopefully, going back to Lana, hopefully she finds success in a different promotion, because she is capable of a lot. She's very talented.
She's very driven.
She still wrestles in the dungeon with Natty and Liv and everyone else.
I don't like calling it the dungeon, but I get it.
The Heart Dungeon. I think it's so cool. I would love to have a gym call it the dungeon.
How I feel about that.
Alright. So is that all the news?
That is all the news. Every piece of news you could ever ask for.
There was something else that we talked about before that I didn't bring up. I'll talk about while you put up the sign. Kenny Omega is apparently feeling better. There was a lot of talk that he's been hurting lately, specifically from a hernia that he's had, and his pain has been very evident in a lot of his matches, especially against Jungle Boy lately. But apparently he's doing a lot better. That's all thanks to stem cell therapy and other medical remedies that he's had, but mostly stem cell therapy. Especially with the huge amount of matches he has. I mean, he's defending his title at AAA against Andrade. He's defending his Impact title against Sami Callihan. And then he's soon going to be defending his AEW title against Hangman Page. But hopefully he sticks it out and we get, like, I don't know, 2 more years of Kenny as the bout machine.
Hopefully.
Alright.
We would just get at least 2 more years of Kenny wrestling.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to see him retire anytime soon. Alright, so matches and promos. It was a very promo-heavy episode. We started off with Edge in the ring. He says WrestleMania was supposed to be the culmination of a 10-year story, winning the championship 10 years to the day after having to retire. And I envisioned it so much I knew it would happen, and then it didn't. I didn't see that coming. That wasn't in my vision. Now I'll be fully transparent. It rocked me. In that time, I started to roll the match back in my brain. I watched the match back, and I never do that. Roman glossed over a lot of key points. I could complain about how WrestleMania went down, about how Daniel Bryan being in that match would cost me the match. I could complain how Jey Uso stopped me from doing the concerto. In 2021, I have to understand that there will always be excuses. I have spent my entire career knocking down excuses. I don't stop. Now here's the thing. Now that I've been in here with Roman one-on-one, I know I can beat him. More importantly, Roman, you know I can beat you. I know you're not going to admit it. I've got proof. And then they throw up a picture of Edge giving Roman the crossface at WrestleMania. He points out Roman's crossed eyes, which were very slightly crossed. He says, Roman, last week when you heard my music, the look on your face solidified what I know. You know, no matter what the odds say, I am the guy who's got your number. I'm gonna beat you. It's just a matter of when. I am inevitable. I'm gonna be the Universal Champion. And that's over. We go to Jimmy Uso and Paul Heyman in the suite. Jimmy says, I know you heard Edge. Tell me he's not saying all that oos. I'm gonna tell him what I told him last week. We are family. I got his back like he's got my back. Then we go to Corbin backstage before the first match. He's asked about all the money he's lost in investments. He says, I've lost hundreds of thousands. I've lost hundreds of thousands. I was a wealthy man. But now... And he sulks off. And we go to Shinsuke Nakamura and Big E versus Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin. Or I think they're just calling him Corbin, not even Baron Corbin now.
Yeah. Alright, so we start with Nakamura versus Apollo. Side headlock on Shinsuke and then a big shoulder tackle. Apollo yells at Corbin for some reason. And Nakamura hits him with a spinning heel kick. Then we get some use of the midsection of Apollo in the corner. Big E gets in. And then Nakamura and Big E put their boots to his throat while Boogs shreds on the guitar. Corbin then gets in. He's immediately... Oh, sorry. Corbin gets in. He's immediately clubbed off of the apron. Then manages to get Big E down on his level, throws him over the barricade. After the commercial break, they're in the ring together. There's elbows to the neck of Big E. Big E manages to punch himself free. Gets hit with a back elbow from Corbin. A drop kick to Big E from a freshly legal Apollo, and then a front face lock on E. Apollo then hits a step up enziguri after Big E gets out of the face lock. Big E then dumps Apollo out of the ring. Corbin tags in the process. Get a right hand to Shinsuke to knock him off the apron, and then Big E is sent into the buckles. Apollo German suplexes Shinsuke as he kind of comes in to be like, hey, what the fuck? Then Boogs interrupts to tell Corbin that his car is being towed, and in the process, Big E picks him up, launches him down for the big ending, and Corbin loses.
Didn't love the finish. I mean, it solidifies the story, but like that kind of distraction finish was kind of dumb.
I like this only because it felt like the old-fashioned distraction, like using genuine like props.
Yeah, but they could have. I could also see them doing it like Corbin gets pinned, and it's like, oh fuck, he lost the match. And then they show the footage of his car getting towed. Like, just to kick him while he's down.
That's fair.
And that would also solidify Boogs as a massive dickhead. Just like, hey, you lost. Instead of it being, hey, look, let me distract you while my buddies win. But still a pretty fun match.
I thought so.
Shinsuke and Big E were doing awesome. When Baron Corbin was alive, he was doing fantastic stuff.
Yeah. Didn't get any fast corpse, though.
Yeah.
Any sad, slow corpse.
Yeah, not quite happy Corbs yet.
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to come in. I'm kind of worried about it. But like, it does seem like they're turning him babyface.
Yeah. I wonder... Well, if they're turning him babyface, that kind of... means he won't go to Alpha Academy like
right.
a lot of people suggested. Who knows? After that, we get another long promo, this time with Bayley in the ring. She says, I don't normally like to say I told you so, but I told you so. I told you that Bianca's win was just a fluke. The best part was the look in her eyes when I pinned her. She was sitting there questioning everything she did wrong. Physically, she's very strong, but mentally, she's weak. I know I made it look easy when I held that title for 380 days compared to Bianca's 80-ish days. A loss like this early on, I don't know. She's crumbling at the weight of her expectations. In 2 short weeks, we're coming back, performing. It would make me so sad to see Bianca completely fall apart in front of the little boys and girls who worship her. Because Bianca ain't nothing to Bayley. Bianca Belair comes out. She says, "Girl, what you need is a good crack in that mouth." Your mouth technically already has a crack. It's your mouth hole. It's your crack.
Maybe that's like considered a bad one because she's not doing nice things. Also, Bianca has every right to slap Bayley in the teeth.
Maybe she meant butt crack. Like, you need me to sit on your face. I don't know, like Umaga.
Break that one down for us?
Like Rikishi it. I don't remember
I'm sure
who did
that's
that.
what she meant.
Probably like a crack in your tooth or something.
No, like a crack, like you slap somebody.
Yeah. I know, like, I get the vibe, but it's just, I feel like she worded it a little weird. Because you crack somebody's mouth, you don't put a crack in somebody's mouth.
Like, that's like the thing. Like, a good crack in that mouth, like a good slap in the face, basically. Crack.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I get it. Like, I get it. I don't know. She said, "Because you may want this, but I have this," referencing the title. "And I keep beating you over and over and over. You can't let go. You're obsessed with me. And you think you're in my head." Bayley said, "Yes, I am in your head. You're shaking in your boots. Look at you." And Bianca said, "You know what? You are in my head. No matter how many times I beat you, you'll always come back. There's only one way to end this. A match for me to embarrass you to the point of no return. I am so over you. So if the officials will allow it, at Money in the Bank, I put my title on the line in an I Quit match." Bayley, it's a great response. She says, "Dang, I really did get in your head. What did I do to you? I've never quit anything in my life. I accomplished everything I said I would. So if you can make me say I quit, I mean, I'd probably quit WWE. I'd probably quit competing altogether. But hearing you say I quit, I wouldn't be surprised at all. You are not the champion you're portraying yourself to be. I accept." Bayley then starts laughing, and Bianca starts laughing. Bayley says, "What the hell is so funny?" Bianca says, "I just realized how excited I am to hear you say those words, I quit." Good stipulation. Probably make a fantastic match, even if we're seeing the match again. This is like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Like, these guys are always going to put on a great match.
Haven't we lost enough women?
She's not leaving the WWE. She's not. I can almost guarantee it.
Almost.
But it makes me think, like, either Bayley's gonna win because she wouldn't say I quit, or she's gonna get knocked out and therefore can't say I quit, thus making Bianca win, but Bayley never said I quit.
It's an option. I think that somebody's going to quit. I think it's going to be Bayley because I think Bayley has been working a lot and probably earned herself a little break.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm excited though. It'll be a really fun match. Then we go to Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso in the suite once again. Jimmy says, "When Roman gets here, Edge is waiting to jump all over him. He's waiting on me, isn't he?" Paul just shrugs. Jimmy says, I'm going to go to Pierce and Sonya to have some space in the show. I'm going to call out Edge. Roman not being here just proves that this was just a filler episode for this feud. Like, I guarantee next week, like, he's going to come back and like nothing will be acknowledged besides the head of the table, of course. And then we go to Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in a last man standing match for a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
I forgot that this was for Money in the Bank. Like, I genuinely, like, that glossed over me.
Yeah, my one gripe with what SmackDown's doing right now, and it's a very small one, is while Raw is doing these new matchups for the Money in the Bank spots, SmackDown is giving us the feuds we've just had as these qualifiers.
Yeah.
So they're not having that opportunity for us to get new matches and to shake it up a little bit.
Get that. Heck up. So we start with Kevin stomping on Sami. He hits a cannonball. Sami then punches Kevin ringside before he gets jumped over the barricade into the stands. And then Kevin decides to slam Sami headfirst into the screens. Kevin then hits a swanton onto Sami off the barricade. And goes. I think he hit that off the announce desk. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the barricade.
Wait, what did he hit?
The swanton.
I don't remember.
But he then gets up onto the barricade. Just as he goes to jump down onto Sami, Sami comes up, grabs him, and dumps him onto the announce desk. After that, we get Kevin. I believe we went to commercial. We came back. Kevin started slugging Sami before dropping him with a right hook. He then threw Sami into the post. Kevin got Sami back into the ring. They exchanged blows for a minute. And then Kevin decides to stack up some tables. He looks like he wants to Sami up. A little bit. Looks like he wants to take Sami up and superplex him through the tables, but Sami fights down, gets Kevin off the post, then flies out of the ring onto Kevin's shoulders. We get an exploder suplex that sends Kevin into the buckles after another commercial break. And this time a commercial break that was completely weird. The way that they cut to it.
Yeah, it was like they faded out while Michael Cole was saying, "Money in the Bank."
Yeah.
Money in the Bank.
In my head, it was much more abrupt than that.
Yeah.
When we come back, there's an exploder suplex sending Kevin into the buckles. Sami and Kevin go up top, and then they both come down to the mat. Super kick to the face of Zayn. Sami goes all the way up top. Kevin meets him there. Sami then slips down and pushes Kevin Owens through the two tables that we previously discussed. Sami then sets up two more tables, but not on top of each other this time. We get a brainbuster to Kevin from Sami on the apron, and then three separate haluva kicks. Kevin then rolls to ringside to land on his feet in order to not get counted out. Sami then decides that he's going to fly. Once again, let me just fucking yawn. He decides that he's going to fly through the ring post area onto Kevin, but instead gets smacked in the face with a super kick. Kevin manages a pop-up powerbomb after that, and then hits a stunner, and then powerbombs Sami through both of the tables at a ringside, and then powerbombs him again into the apron. It
looked like you froze for a second. I thought you got cut off or something. Fantastic match. And just like Sami Zayn said on Twitter, this was the end of the chapter. It felt like it too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
After that match, also it'd be really cool if how they introduced Finn Balor into SmackDown would be with either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn. It seems like Shinsuke's got some other stuff. He's got Corbin, I think.
I think you should tell that to Finn, because Finn sure seems to want to be with Shinsuke.
or he wants the Intercontinental title.
It seems like he wants to be Shinsuke, just judging by like his posts.
I don't know. I feel like out of all of the IC title holders, Shinsuke is his closest friend, and he might have thought it funny to just Photoshop his face onto him. But I also like am so torn about speculating stuff like that because just like he could just be fucking around.
Could be. It's fair.
But I feel like it's very certain he's coming to SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope.
Especially since he hasn't been seen backstage at Raw. After that, we get an interview with Edge backstage. He said, "You have to know I'm walking into a trap. Jimmy's got it all. Roman knows I know what's coming. I go out there and get the beat down on Jimmy. Then Roman comes out. I'm tired of Roman and his family and excuses. If they want to set this trap, then fine. They're going to meet a pissed off, angry Edge." Then we go backstage to Corbin and Boogs. Boogs says, "Hey, I think you should join us." What was the first one? We're going to get dinner.
Chicken. They're gonna get
King
chicken.
crab, something like that.
Yeah, and king crab or something like that. And I was like,
Some king joke. Then he said, okay, well, you'll feel better after you get some sleep in your king-sized bed. Which he probably still does have a king-sized bed. I can guarantee if you're Corbin, you're not sleeping in a bowl.
Luke said that, and I was like, damn, I'd love to be laying down in a bed right now.
And then he was like, okay, well, Nakamura said the funniest thing when playing checkers. King me. And Corbin just says, "This is hilarious to you. Kicking a guy while he's down. I've got one thing to say to you and everyone else. Screw you, man." Kind of sad that Corbin didn't just, like, punch him.
No.
And also, Boogs is being a fucking dick.
Who's this being a dick? Like, what the fuck?
Like, I thought he and Shinsuke were supposed to be a face. Like, come on. So after that, we go to Sonya Deville in the ring to announce the next entrant into the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match because there's not enough to have qualifiers.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
They need to have 4 women, and there's like 4 total. 4 or 5. And so she announces Zelina Vega, which was a fucking shock. Guarantee nobody saw that coming unless you were on Reddit like a half hour before that announcement. Apparently there was a post about how they listed Zelina Vega on their roster again. Zelina comes out. She says, "Hi, Sonya. How are you? It is your honor to announce my return. Just like it'll be my pleasure to grab that contract, then wait until the champ is down, half beaten, and can't stand. That will be the moment I cash in and get either Smackdown Women's Championship, the Raw Women's Championship, or the NXT Women's Championship." I'm so glad they're throwing NXT into the mix.
Yeah.
I wish, though, they would have some wrestlers from NXT. Like, maybe make it like a 9 women ladder match or 9-man ladder match. And have 3 from Raw, 3 from SmackDown, 3 from NXT. That'd be fun. Or they should act like the $1 Million Championship is kind of like the Money in the Bank briefcase. You buy your way into a championship match. Ooh, thing called a buy-in. I'm buying in.
You got a point.
Then Liv Morgan comes out. She says, "What is going on here? It's bad enough he put Carmella in the match last week. I still feel like I belong in that match. You're rewarding Zelina with that opportunity. She worked really hard, huh? She doesn't deserve to be in that match. How is that even fair? Zelina says, I'll tell you how it's fair. I have competed in rings like this for years. I am one of the most popular female competitors in WWE. I can embarrass you. I will show you the amateur you are. That is why I am in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Liv slaps Zelina and just says, prove it. Let me prove it in a match right now. And I love Zelina coming back and immediately being back to the heel that she used to be. No introduction, just heel.
I don't know if she's the most popular women's wrestler, but alright.
She said one of.
Yeah, that's still a stretch, I think, but I'll take her word for it. So yeah, a match happened.
Yeah, we come back from commercial and Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega has already started.
Because Liv slapped Zelina in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Zelina then gets Liv in a modified octopus and then a crucifix against the ropes. She then hits Liv with a nasty fucking clothesline and then a boot to the face. I don't know what my note is. But we get some running knees to Morgan. Liv then hits Zelina with a surprise crucifix pin. Zelina, however, rolls Liv up, but gets caught for holding Liv's trunks, and then Liv does the exact same to Zelina, nearly showing her entire ass, to win.
Wasn't even a long match.
No, it wasn't. They don't have women, and they don't have time for women.
But the way they're having Liv have these matches and prove that she is capable, I feel like she's gonna win the briefcase. There's no one on Raw proving themselves enough like Liv.
Who's on Raw that?
Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross. I could have sworn they had another qualifying match. Who was in it? Oh god. Oh. Asuka and Naomi.
Oh.
Yeah, and Asuka and Naomi have basically fallen off the face of the earth at this point with how little they're acknowledged. Nikki is another contender, but Alexa Bliss definitely not.
Better not be.
Plus, I have a feeling. Oh, I see how this is gonna go. Nikki Cross is gonna win it because they're gonna want a cash in that night for both the men's and women's because it's in front of a crowd, and you wouldn't want to have Liv Morgan cashing in on Bianca Belair. You would want Nikki Cross cashing in on Charlotte Flair as soon as she wins that belt. That pop would be massive.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Just watching a superhero get almost a superhero getting the Money in the Bank briefcase. Gotta make way for Karrion Kross.
Tired. I'm so tired.
Alright, then, speaking of crazy, we go to Seth Rollins with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. He says, hey, Seth Rollins here. Fucking Seth, my god. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I swear Seth just does not give a fuck at this point. Like, he is just being as nutso as possible. He does not care.
It's a lunatic.
Sonya says, we know who you are. And Seth says, oh, you do remember me. I swore you forgot when you decided to give Edge the match against Roman at Money in the Bank. Sonya says, we said we'd take it under advisement. Seth said, you said you were inclined to agree. Pierce says, Edge deserves the opportunity. And Seth says, you know who else does? Seth frickin' Rollins. Tony says he won the Royal Rumble and didn't get his one-on-one match. Pierce says the decision has been made. You'll be in the Money in the Bank ladder match if you can beat Cesaro next week. Yeah, Seth's winning that spot.
Why are we getting the same matches? At least like make them different matches.
With Kevin Owens and Sammy, I give the pass. With Biggie and Apollo, that one was lame. Like that you could have diversified a little bit. Same with Seth and Cesaro. Make it like Seth has to beat I don't know, Robert Roode to beat Chad Gable.
Yeah. Cause it's like the whole point of Money in the Bank is it's a bunch of different people fighting against each other. Like, you may as well make the qualifier matches the same deal.
Yeah. Yep. But again, this will be a really fun match.
Yeah.
And my pick for winning the Money in the Bank briefcase now that this match was announced, I think Seth Rollins is going to get it and cash in on Roman and Edge. Like that same night. Because is Bobby? Yeah, Bobby's defending against Kofi. They are not having anyone from Raw rip that briefcase from Kofi, or rip that title from Kofi at Money in the Bank, or rip it from Bobby.
I was gonna say, don't get too whatever the word is.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
Who's?
Well, I would say optimistic because I don't hate Bobby with the title.
Who's in the ladder match on Raw? Drew, Riddle. Drew, Riddle. What was the last two I'm forgetting?
Who fought AJ?
Oh, John Morrison and Ricochet. Yeah. Riddle's not getting it. Drew is not getting it. Now that Seth is now in contention, I think Seth is going to get that briefcase. We're going to get another heist of the century. And then we go to Angelo Dawkins versus Otis, which is like a 2-second match. This didn't need to be here.
They punch each other for a second. Otis then flattens Dawkins with a clothesline after Dawkins runs at Chad, sending him off the apron. Otis then drops Dawkins with a fallaway slam, hits him with a splash off the top buckle, and then hits him with a second splash off the top buckle to obliterate Dawkins and call it a day.
Yeah, but Otis is looking dominant, which is good. He should have been like this since he got the Money in the Bank briefcase. Better late than never, I guess.
Yeah.
All Otis had to do to win was shave. Then we go to the suite with Jimmy and Paul. Oh no, we're in Gorilla with Jimmy and Paul. Paul says, "We both know your cousin, Roman. The tribal chief operates on his own time. He does for those who do for him. All you have to do is go out there and be main event Jimmy Uso." Jimmy's like, "Yeah, I will." Jimmy then goes out in the ring, says, "Where you at, Edge?" "I'm right here, Us. It looks like it's just you and me, Us. No Roman tonight. I don't need my cousin here tonight. I can handle you all by myself. Where you at? Seems to me you're not man enough to step right in this ring, face to face with Jimmy Uso. This is no trap. This is just Us calling you out. Let's do this." Edge comes out. He says, "All jacked up because you've got your cousin waiting in the wings. Your cousin is using you, Jimmy. He beat the hell out of Jay until he acknowledged Roman was head of the table. Once he starts using up Jay, once he started using Jay up, he starts using you. What happened to nobody's bitch? Now you're just one of Roman's bitches. Roman laid a perfect trap, but this isn't a trap for me. This is a trap for you." Edge then approaches Jimmy, throws Jimmy into the post. He then throws him into the other post, sets up a chair, or he sets up the stairs. but Jimmy responds with a super kick to Edge, drops him onto the stairs, and then unloads on Edge with punches inside the ring. Edge kicks Jimmy, unloads on him, and gives him a crossface. Jimmy taps, Edge lets go, but lines up the spear, and we get a huge spear to Jimmy. Goes to the timekeeper's area, grabs a chair, and stomps out the bottom rail, and then uses that to crossface Jimmy once again. He says, "Look, Roman, look, I'm gonna knock your shiny teeth out." And then that's the end of the episode. Well, what a beautiful ending to an episode.
It's art.
Mm-hmm. And now it is time for the bests of the night. But before we get to the best of the night, we on Fridays normally do the top 10 list.
Right, no, somebody's engine was just rumbling so loudly it sounded like a plane was landing on the apartment.
Oh, yeah, no, that's Pizza's plane.
Oh, is she leaving?
No, she's arriving.
Just here.
Yeah. Should I do top 10 of WWE still? Or should I just do the top 10 of all professional wrestling? Top promotions?
Okay, no lost those.
Because I do top 10 on Twitter, but I could do it here too.
Okay,
I'll
no
do it
lost those.
You want me to do both? Okay. Alright.
Sitting here.
What should I do first?
WWE and then all of the
Okay.
world.
Alright. So, not much has changed in the top 10 in WWE, but number 10. We got... I'm gonna breeze through this a little faster since we're doing both top 10s. Number 10, we have the one half of the NXT UK Tag Team Champions, Sam Stoker. Number 9, the NXT UK Champion, Walter. Number 8, one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Natalia. Number 7, the reigning Heritage Cup Champion, Tyler Bate. Number 6, Mansoor. Not undefeated anymore after that battle royal. Number 5, the NXT champion, Karrion Kross. Number 4, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Wes Lee. Number 3, the other half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Nash Carter. Number 2, the WWE Champion, Bobby Lashley. And number 1, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Now, the top 10 of all the major promotions in professional wrestling, not WWE. Not too many WWE here, but anyway. From NXT are our 10 and 9, Wes Lee and Nash Carter. Number 8, from Impact, Joe Doring. Number 7, from AEW, Nick Jackson. Number 6, the TNT champion, Miro. Number 5, the other half of the AEW Tag Team Champions, Matt Jackson. Number 4, the WWE champion, Bobby Lashley. Number 3, from AEW, Darby Allin. Number 2, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. And number 1, he is the AAA champion, the Impact champion, the TNA champion, and the AEW World Champion. It is Kenny Omega. And that is the top 10 of all the top promotions in professional wrestling. Alright, so bests of the night.
Yes.
Alright, so where is the... So even though this was a promo of the episode, I don't know what I want to win because I didn't really like any of these promos. I don't know. We start off with Edge in the ring. It was a very well delivered promo. Kind of finally getting his reaction after losing at WrestleMania. something that I feel like we should have gotten earlier, but I guess better late than never. Then we go all the Jimmy and Paul stuff. I thought was weird. I was expecting Roman to come in at some point, but now this very much feels like just a way to get by. Corbin backstage being interviewed. That was sad. Bailey in the ring with Bianca. This was fine. Great from Bailey and great from Bianca, but I feel like in terms of the writing, it kind of didn't add a whole lot besides the stipulation at Money in the Bank. I feel like there wasn't a ton of story progress here. Then, I skipped over a lot. Okay. Then we go to Edge backstage and interview, which was fine. Corbin and Boogs showing off how much of a dickhead Boogs is. It's fine. Sonya in the ring. Zelina coming back was really fun. I'm glad she came back and was like pretty much the same character as if nothing happened.
Yeah. Totally normal. We're having a good time.
Does she remember that the last time she was on TV, she was Sister Abigail by Alexa Bliss? And do you think she remembers having somebody she was managing?
Maybe that's why she came back like nothing happened, because she does not remember.
Yeah, that's Sister
like, this
Abigail.
seems normal.
Sister Abigail knocked her to a different brand.
There you go.
God, imagine if Andrade was on Smackdown right now. Just like feud with Roman. He's gonna be amazing on AEW though.
Yeah.
I felt this whole promo was really great. Zelina Vega coming back, and then Liv Morgan continuing her rise and being pissed off. Plus her interaction with Zelina was really good. I could see this feud going pretty far, better than a Liv Carmella feud. Then we had Seth and Pierce and Sonya. This was great for just Psycho Seth. Then we finally get Jimmy in the ring, confronting Edge. I don't know. Didn't do it for me. This didn't excite me very much.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping we would get like a bit of a match. Even like a short one. But no, it was just a little brawl in the ring. Nothing really came out of it.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go with Zelina Vega's return as my pick for promo of the night.
Okay, I'll go with it, because that was definitely something new.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Only problem is that it just makes me remember that like Mia Yim is still back there.
Yeah. But again, they probably want people to forget she was Reckoning. And who knows, maybe they'll have a Money in the Bank qualifier match for Liv Morgan, but it'll just be against Mia Yim. That'll be the only qualifying match they have. And then Mia Yim wins. Alright, so Wrestler of the Night now. Not a ton to pick from. Did I miss a match? I think I did. Yeah, no, I did not. There were 4 matches. Alright, so we start off with the tag match. Big E and Shinsuke versus Baron Corbin. Sorry, Corbin and Apollo. I think I'm going to go with Corbin. I don't know. I didn't love anyone in this match. Wasn't very...
Corbin did a good job character-wise.
Yeah, he definitely gave the best character performance of anyone. Everyone else was kind of a little flat, especially Apollo. Apollo didn't show a whole lot. But yeah, Corbin definitely did give us the best character work in the entire match. Then we had Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, last man standing match. I'm going with Kevin. Kevin was fantastic. Um, and then he took like the biggest bumps in that match, besides the 3 power bombs he gave to Sammy at the end. But that double table bump was huge. Did he smash through the table, or was that Sammy?
He went through the stack tables, and Sammy went through the 2 tables that he set up. That Sammy set up.
I mean the announce desk.
Oh, that was Kevin. Kevin went into the announce desk.
Okay. Yeah, I thought Kevin Owens was just so good in this, and when he said to Sammy, "This is karma now," like that's a great turnaround. Then we had Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega. I'm gonna go with Liv Morgan. Yeah, that's really it. I don't know.
That's fair.
Match wasn't very exciting. It's fine. Then we had Otis versus Angelo Dawkins, and Angelo Dawkins didn't really do anything, so I gotta give it to Otis. So, wrestler of the night. I think we can come to agreement here very quickly. It's Kevin Owens.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like nobody else was really given the time to shine out of everyone besides KO, probably Corbin. But that wasn't even so much in the ring as it was with his reaction. Alright, so match of the night. Started with the tag match. That was fun. Finish was a little corny. I feel like they could have done it in a better way to make it more exciting as a match. But not the worst distraction I've seen. Any of the times Shayna Baszler's been distracted has been god awful.
Jeez.
Then we had KO versus Sammy. Super fun match. I mean, I gave this 5 stars because it was such a great end to the story. Definitely a way to cap it all off. I wish it was done on pay-per-view though. That's like the only thing that I would have changed, is just put this on a pay-per-view. But like, these 2 guys always make great stuff. Like, they even managed to make a match which kind of involved Logan Paul. They made that amazing.
Like, I get it.
And that's the power of not only being extremely talented, but also being in a feud with like one of your best friends.
Just we've seen better matches, I think. This was not my favorite one of them.
It's my favorite between them. I think, can I assume correctly in that you think the WrestleMania match was better?
Yes.
I think the reason you think that is because the crowd gave it a lot more hype.
I don't think so. I think it was just a more interesting match to me. There were more moments where I was like, oh god. As opposed to this one. I think the most oh god moment I had tonight was when Kevin went through the stack tables.
I think they're both 5-star matches in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like these guys always put on 5-star matches. But I feel like the way they integrated the story into it too, and having it feel like the finish was well done. Then Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega. Not very interesting, not very exciting. Same with Otis and Angelo Dawkins. Not a whole lot of substance. Not great. So, my pick for match of the night is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
As much as I've been hating on it, it's the only one I can think of tonight. Choose.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the Corbin Apollo Big E Shinsuke match had been longer, it would have been better.
I'm gonna respectfully
Except
disagree
for not
with
being
you.
long.
Hmm?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you, but I respect your opinion.
Fine. Maybe I won't respect yours.
Kind of messed up, but okay. Alright, so to run it back, our promo of the night, Sonya reveals Zelina Vega. Wrestler of the night, Kevin Owens. Match of the night, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Last man standing. So you want to answer some questions? We do have some questions on YouTube. Completely forgot to open it up prior. If you're in chat right now, if you're watching the stream, leave a comment in the chat asking a question. We can answer it. It can be about wrestling, it can be about non-wrestling, whatever you want. Alright, so Milam actually asked a question on YouTube and said, who is your favorite commentator in all of wrestling? You heard that, right? You weren't distracted. You didn't hear that?
I heard it. That's why
Okay.
I'm making a face.
Okay. Let's split it up. Favorite play-by-play and favorite color commentator. If you want, I can start because I already have my picks.
I have my picks, but they're not like consolidated.
Not consolidated.
Two sets.
Okay.
I would say Vic and Wade or as an Excalibur.
Okay. My favorite play-by-play is definitely Excalibur. My favorite color commentator, well, in the best color commentator is probably is Corey Graves. The amount of times he has saved a match or saved a show just with his commentary is too high to count at this point. Especially when there was that period of time when everything was getting fucked up, and I think we're still in that period of time.
Yeah.
But my favorite color commentator, Nigel McGuinness.
Okay.
He's so goddamn knowledgeable about wrestling, but he's also like antagonistic. I love that. But
it's very fun.
The most fun color commentators Taz.
Of course. I feel like there's no contest. It's like Taz and Excalibur for me are in like a league of their own where it's just like realistically, yes, I guess from the classical wrestling sense, that's what you're there for. Might not be your favorite duo because they get sidetracked all the time. But if you're there for like half the wrestling and half the commentary, that's what I'm there for. That's what I mean. Dark is good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Dark would be as good without them.
Yeah, I mean, the matches in Dark are whatever because they're just squashes every time. But that's why Excalibur's not doing much play-by-play. They're having conversations that whole time.
Yeah.
But I think Taz bringing that experience in WWE and in TNA is massive to his commentary.
Yeah. Great.
So, Miriam also asked a question. If you guys were wrestlers, what would your theme song be? Pretending that copyright isn't a thing and you could pick any song you want. I know you've thought about this.
I have, and Marion probably knows one of my answers, so I'm not going to go with that answer.
Okay.
But I am going to think of a different answer.
I want to
Actually, I think I know one song.
You do?
Let me look at my Spotify.
I'm looking at mine right now. I don't want to pick like an existing wrestling song. If I would pick one, it would be Rebel Heart.
Sure.
Or it would be Golden Smoke.
No. I wouldn't let you.
Golden Smoke is amazing. How dare you? That is in my regular Spotify playlist. If none of you, if any of you haven't seen or haven't listened to Golden Smoke, Gold and Cody Rhodes' walkout, please do that. It is an amazing song.
Okay, so this isn't fair because oh god, whose was it?
What?
Yeah. So this isn't fair because Victoria already used it, but all the things she said by Tattoo, if she hadn't, I would steal that.
It's fair.
Not my choice though.
The only thing that's really coming to mind is what is it? Shoot. Why can't I think of it right now? Did Spotify remove the feature to be able to search in your playlist?
I don't know. I don't think so. I can search in my liked songs. I can search. I think mine would probably be oh god, it's a song by the artist Fletcher. It's the song Last Laugh by Fletcher from the Promising Young Woman soundtrack, and ever need a workout song that makes you kind of feel like you might kill a man? Probably that. I'd say bop and a half. But also, just that Mary and I have discussed it before. That the idea of doing something classical, like the Imperium walkout,
fucking Don Callis.
Not the same. And D is not quite the same. There is something very going to fuck you up about classical music. It's let me see if I have.
I would probably do I'm Alive by Johnny Thunder. Or God.
Also could see myself Vivaldi's The Four Seasons, Winter in F, which also was done in John Wick. Winter at the Continental.
Right.
That's a banger.
That's a good one.
That I would walk out to.
That's a good one. I
also use that as the theme song for Chef's Table, so I'd be walking out also thinking about how I'm going to become a master chef.
Right. God, I want something that sounds like a Champions themes, like a Champions walkout. Because I'm Alive isn't it doesn't sound like a Champions walkout. It's as much of one as Rich Swan's is.
Would you choose 3MB?
Ooh, a really good song that I would actually make mine is The Plan by Travis Scott.
I've not heard it, but I do know that Travis Scott is pretty decent.
It's on the Tenet soundtrack.
Okay.
It is really it's a vibe. It's really good. Yeah, that would be my walkout.
I have also, I think I fell asleep on my phone the other day. I have liked songs and playlists that I did not choose but are based on songs I definitely listened to recently, and I'm fuck. Yeah, I mean, I've got because I've got my workout playlist and I've got a playlist of classical music that I work out to sometimes that makes me feel like I'm She-Ra. I'm coming down to earth to fuck some shit up. But in any of those songs from those playlists are probably decent. It says.
Oh fuck. I want to just end this question, but there was another one that I can't remember. But anyway, I'm not going to bother searching because that'll take more time. All right, so that's all the questions. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
I would, because if I close out the show, that means I can get into bed and take my makeup off.
Don't be so excited to end the podcast. God.
Alright guys, I'm not usually, but like I'm pretty fucking pooped. I had to drive through driving rain and traffic and I wanted to cry. There's a point in time where I could not see outside my windshield. Very nerve-wracking. Do you care about any of this?
Seemed like you wanted to quickly end the podcast, but now it seems like you don't.
I want to give a reason for wanting to quickly end the podcast, so it's not like I'm not committed.
Okay.
Anyways, if you joined us tonight, thank you so much. And if you joined us in the future, thank you so much. I hope you have a happy July 4th long weekend, whatever you celebrate. I personally celebrate the long weekend. Please join us. This comes as a surprise every Friday, but please join us for Monday Night Raw. We watch Raw so you don't have to. We make it more fun and we make it much shorter than Raw actually is. If you want to wait like the 3 hours after, like wait 3 hours through Raw, just tune into ours and we'll just tell you what the fuck happened. Easy as that. Yeah, tune into that. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. Follow, subscribe. Our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. We have all of our previous episodes there. If you subscribe on Twitch, you can get the past 2 weeks of episodes without having to wait for me to upload them to YouTube. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. My Twitter is at @TheMarkCameron. Liz is at ElizaElane23. And thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you on Monday for Monday Night Raw. And have a fantastic weekend.